You guys had a safe 4th of July. I did. I didn't go listen to the fireworks, but I did hear the fireworks from sitting out here on the balcony here. So let's see if I can scoot it up like that. Yeah. A friend of mine suggested that I do a video about the dresses I bought, like a live stream, but it'd be kind of weird because like I have to like put on a dress and then tell you what that one's. Thanks for the thumbs up. And then tell you what that's about, and then put on another dress. But I can't really pause a live stream. I don't believe so. I'd have to leave it on while I'm doing that. But this is one of the dresses that I bought. In case you guys wanted to know, I went to the thrift store and was able to find 5 dresses, very cheap and very nice. So just for the summertime. See? So that's what it looks like. It's nice and light and it's comfortable. It actually is really nice and breezy out right now, so I'm really happy about that. But these kind of dresses help a lot. So what I'll do instead of modeling each dress on each live stream, what I'll do is just wear a different one on each live stream. This one was really nice and comfortable. It's a very light material. It has flowers all over it. That's what I like about it. I like how it kind of it crisscrosses in the back, which I showed you already. And yeah, it's very light. Because I've been getting really sweltering hot. Even when it's a breeze going, it's cooling off, I still feel really hot. So, yeah, really important to have fabrics that can breathe. And I wanted to be able to like find some fabric to eventually make my own dresses so they fit just the way I want them to fit, but that came pretty close, I went to that one thrift store and it was weird because I was looking at this other dress. It was a blue and white striped dress. I kind of liked it because it had pockets and everything. And it was a tank top dress. And I asked the woman that was working there, she had a mask on, and I asked her, how much is this dress? Because I wasn't sure if that price was correct. The price on the dress was $29.99, $30, and I thought, really? You want $30 for this? And it had a stain on it too. So I asked the lady, and she didn't answer me. And I said, excuse me, miss, can you tell me how much this dress is? And then she's like, it's on the tag right there, all grumpy and shit, right? Muffled through the mask. And I was like, oh, okay, $30 for this dress? I put it back on the rack. So, so that's our story. Trip was very, very productive. I found some really good dresses. I even found an owl mug, uh, another owl mug, which I like owl mugs and stuff. So I was really fortunate to be able to find what I did there. I did find a wooden like kind of container that was closed up, and inside of it was chalk pastels. But I wasn't wanting to spend any money on that because I didn't have anything that I can draw the oil pastels on. So I just left that there, and then I found a few canvases there, but I didn't buy those because I don't have any paint, and I don't want to just fill up, I don't want to just fill up my buddy's apartment with all this stuff if I can't even do anything with it. So yeah, that thrift store was really good for clothing. Everything else, not so much, but good for clothing. Um, yeah, and this is one of the many dresses out of the 5 that I was able to get that feels comfortable, and nice and cool, and I like the flowers and everything. I felt like my mom was there with me when I found all these dresses with flowers on them. I definitely feel like my mom was with me because she loved flowers and she loved to garden. So yeah, um, so yeah, I don't really like 4th of July, the firecrackers and all that stuff. It's just too much for me. Uh, it's a sensory overload for me. Wasn't a lot of firecrackers. When they did go off, it seemed like the sound of it was very compressed. Me and my friend noticed that it sounded like that, compressed, muffled. It didn't sound as loud. Only a few did towards the end. It sounded really loud, but mostly they were muffled, which was weird. And you didn't smell any You know, you smell some kind of smoke afterwards, right? With the really loud ones, there was no smoke at all. Not whatsoever. There was no smoke at all. That's what was strange about it. Totally, totally strange about it. Um, I told you guys my theory about the night skies or the skies in general, what the government can do to manipulate us, where we won't be able to see all of what's going on in the skies. And they realize that a lot of people aren't looking up at the skies. I believe a lot of what's in the skies is a result of Star Wars, real Star Wars. And I touched a little bit on this on a small, I think it was like a 30-minute live stream I did, not yesterday, but day before. And I was kicking it at this, Sutter's Fort area. And yeah, I was talking about that, how I feel like there's some cloaking going on in the skies. Like, there's things like, not last night, not before last, I was looking up in the skies, and I saw a lot of stars in the skies, and I was like, wow, cool. I'm looking, and then it feels like a film looks like a film is over the sky. Like, it's blue, but like a dirty blue color, you know what I mean? And I was looking at this one star, which I thought was a star in the sky, and then it blinked out of existence, and then it came back, and then it went out, and then it came back, and then it went, and it was gone. So I don't know what that's about. It didn't move or anything. It wasn't moving. It wasn't an airplane. So I couldn't explain what the heck it was. Thanks for the 3 thumbs up. I couldn't understand exactly what it was, but there was something to it, you know. And I'm saying, look, thanks for the 4 thumbs up. Please look at the skies at night and in the daytime, because when the pandemic was in full sway, that's why they wanted us inside of the homes, so that we couldn't see what was going on in our skies. Um, it's a little chilly. And that's the thing, the weather is really different every year here in California. Um, it could be 100, over 100 degrees or more, like 108 or whatever. And then the next day, it's cool and breezy like this. So it didn't used to be like this when I first moved here back in '89, I believe. Weather has changed so dramatically. It's ridiculous. So yeah, definitely keep your eyes in the skies. I believe that they are capable of putting what do you call them, holograms, for you to see whatever it is they want you to see. You know, because I believe there's a lot of different activities in our skies. Because we hear a lot of, every now and then, I know you guys do. Thanks for the 5 thumbs up. You hear all kinds of like strange noises that you can't explain. I mean, a few nights ago, me and my buddy were out here listening, looking out in the night sky and everything, and we heard some really just bizarre sounds that didn't sound like anything that we can explain. It wasn't something like that. It wasn't like a speedy hot rod car. It wasn't a motorcycle. It was very unlike anything I've heard before. I mean, it gave me that same feeling of what I felt like when I read the book War of the Worlds. I mean, by H.G. Wells. If anybody's read War of the Worlds, let me know. And if you haven't, please feel free to check it out, because that book is something else. And that was the eeriness that I felt when I was listening to that sound a few nights ago. It's unexplainable. I don't understand what it was. It didn't sound like anything that normally is heard in the night skies. It didn't sound, thanks for the 6 thumbs up. It didn't sound like an airplane. It didn't sound like anything like that. I couldn't explain it. But it makes me really fascinated about continuing to look up in the night skies and the daytime skies. Because one time I took a photo of the skies in the daytime, just trying to capture the clouds that were there, and I showed my friend that photo, and it looked like there was an upside down number 4 in the clouds. So when you look into the clouds, you also get messages from angelic realm, from the spirit realm as well. And I do feel like that was a part of their plan. The government's plan is to keep us insulated inside, so we can't see all the bullshit that they're doing to us, you know, behind the scenes. Hi, how's it going? I was just talking about the whole Star Wars thing and the distractions that the government's putting forth. You know what I mean, to keep us from seeing what's really in the skies. Because I said, me and my friend were listening to we can hear the fireworks from here on the porch here, over here, and what we noticed is like it's all these fireworks going off, but you're not seeing any smoke or anything, or even smelling anything. Usually when usually when fireworks go off like that, you can smell like smoke and stuff. The clouds are blocked tonight. They fighting up there. Yeah, that's what I feel like. I totally feel like that. People have changed too. Yeah, people have changed too. They have, because from being, isolated and having to stay inside and not being able to really enjoy nature, it's really it's made a lot of people feel disoriented. So definitely, I definitely agree with that. You know, there's so many people that enjoy being outside and being in nature. I mean, especially taking their animals out in nature. But when the pandemic started, it was very depressing for a lot of people because you know we were born to go out in nature and look at the flowers, and breathe the air and look at the trees. And if we have pets that we walk, they like to be outside and get nature into them because it's healthy. It's a part of our health, our natural health for every day. Being able to get outside. We weren't meant to stay inside of a building all day long. I mean, that's just not natural at all. So, yeah, it's not. It's just not natural at all. But they were trying to make it feel natural. Make it feel natural for us to be inside all the time, ordering, yeah, ordering from delivery and not really interacting with a lot of people. Just that's what they wanted. They wanted us to be totally isolated. And this isolation has put a lot of people into a deep depression. And they've been trying their best. People have been trying their best to work their way out of this depression in the way that they feel, having to go back and wanting to do like the things that they used to do that made them feel happy. I remember when what's going on? My sister. Let's read this. I gotta bring it up here. My sister and me noticed last year in May the sky was lightning from where I stay, all the way to where she stays. The whole sky was lighting up, lighting up. We knew it was something other than, yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. That's why I'm gonna do some more reading up about all of this so that I can do more videos about it with more information, because there's a lot of manipulation going on in order for us not to see what's really going on. 7 thumbs up. Thank you. Let me put this down here. But yeah, okay, there. But yeah, they just don't want us to know what's going on, but we're gonna figure it out anyways. Um, during the people listening, during the pandemic, um, and they had a curfew. I was going out even though there was a curfew. I was going out because it was quiet, and I like it going outside. It was just like very quiet because everybody around there pretty much was obeying the curfew. I went out past curfew and walked around to see what was going on, looking up in the skies, and it was looking fucking weird up in the skies. It was. It was just. It didn't look right. There's a lot of just things I couldn't explain. You know what I mean? Objects I'd see in the sky that I couldn't explain. Every now and then, I used to watch this show on YouTube. This YouTube channel called Third Phase of the Moon. They got a lot of goofy stuff on there, but they got a lot of stuff on there that you can't explain. Basically, they have people send in videos of anomalies that they catch on film, and it's from all over the world. You know, they got sightings from Russia, sightings from all over the world, and some of the sightings are very compelling because there's no way you can explain it. There was one video this person sent, I think it was from China, and they looked up in the night skies. They show the video. There was like an object. It was kind of, well, not an object. It was shaped in humanoid form, but it was kind of clear and iridescent, and it was just like kind of like swaying in the sky, and nobody could explain that. There was no explanation for that at all, whatsoever. And I was just like, wow. They were looking at it, trying to debunk it, trying to figure out if there was something up with it, but there wasn't any explanation for it whatsoever. Thanks for the 8 thumbs up. But yeah, there was no explanation for it whatsoever. And those kind of things fascinate me to no end, and they're just going to keep trying to hide things as much as they can, but it's going to get to the point where you can't hide it. And, with the Star Wars, someone's going to slip out of the cracks of the, of the clouds and come on down and land. Because for all we know, that's probably what the whole ET story was about. It was about this alien. He was probably shot out of the sky or somehow. I mean, that's why his alien spacecraft had crashed, And you notice how crazy they act when they found out this alien was hiding in these kids' bedroom. The government totally freaked out. They got hazmat suits on and shit, and putting the kid and the alien in different rooms and shit. But in actuality, the alien didn't have anything contagious. It wasn't there to harm them. It just wanted to get back on its freaking spaceship and get the heck out of here. Because this place totally scared that alien, as it would a lot of aliens. I mean, this place scares people that aren't even aliens from another planet. So yeah, it's some crazy stuff. I keep on looking out in the skies too. Even when I was back living at those apartments, I'd go outside and look up at the skies as well, you know, and just keep an eye of it and see if there's anything unusual going on. You know, they can't fool us, man. They try to pull the wool over our eyes by throwing us into the pandemic so that we can stay indoors and get addicted on binge watching TV shows and ordering from Instacart and saying, forget it, it's the end of the world. I give up. That's what they wanted from a lot of people. To feel like it's the end of the world and you don't need to keep trudging along. But you do, because it is important. You know, we came down to the earth, down here not to be entertained by just TV shows alone. We came down here on this planet for a mission, each and every one of us. And that mission was not here to absorb all this foolish BS from social media, TV, you know, movies, and all of that. Because those are all the things that have been hypnotizing us and putting us into mind control type of actions on this planet. Because I know that when you watch a show that you watched when you were a kid now, you can't believe like some of the stuff that was in there that you didn't even weren't aware of. You know, even back to like my teenage years, when I was watching that movie, The Breakfast Club, I didn't realize what they were doing. You know, I thought they were smoking a cigarette, and they weren't smoking a cigarette. Later on in life, when I watched the movie, I realized there's something else going on, and yeah, there's so much more needs to add to the stuff that they put before us to program us to see the world the way they want us to see it, you know, and they want us to see it through the lens of artificiality, through the lens of computer robot mentality, automatons in action. They want us to be that. They want us to just follow along with what they tell us to do, just because they tell us to do. It's like the old school parent. You know, you try to ask them, well, why should I take a nap? Because I said so. Why can't I have that candy bar? Because I said so. Never a clear explanation as to why we can't do certain things, why we don't have certain freedoms here on this planet. Well, that's just how it is. No, that's not just how it is. That's how they want it to be. always. For us to be the submissive child and them to be the adult telling us what to do all the time, telling us what to eat, drink, how to sleep. Same way getting too much sleep, we're not working hard enough, working too much. You see this. It's just a constant rejection of who we are as beings on this planet. And that's not how we were supposed to live on this planet originally. Originally, we're supposed to be a lot freer than this. Because we were free thinkers at one point on this planet, and we're allowed to express ourselves and to do the things we're passionate about without anybody judging us. I remember, if you look back in the days, being an artist was a great thing. It was an honored thing, being an artist. But as time went on, people started seeing artists as lowlifes and shifty bums and all that kind of stuff. So it's all a part of the government's plan to make everybody feel like you're living in that footloose town. Where that whole Kevin Bacon movie where you can't dance anymore. You're not allowed to dance. You're not allowed to express yourself. You're not allowed to show emotion really, just a little bit, but not too much. And then they got the right to control how much emotion you can experience on this planet. It's pretty much what's going on. The suppression of our creativity. People being creative and being original. Now, if you're creative, they expect you to look like somebody else's stuff. They want you to be on social media 24/7 and just copying what everybody else does. Let's see. I'm saying. Artists are very much needed now. American economy has gone downhill. We need a small business boom. Yeah, we do. And artists out there, if you create art, keep on doing it. And if you feel like it, share it, because we need originality. What I suggest of artists that they do, don't look on social media at other artists all day long. Okay, if you're an artist, tap into your own creativity. That's really important. Don't be looking at Banksy, Alex Gray, all these big time artists that everybody's oohing on over. Everybody has their own original style as an artist, but then you become less and less original when you're looking at someone else's work and then going to do your work. Because what's happening, you're looking at someone else's work over and over again all day long for hours, and then you get down to do your work, it may automatically turn into somebody else's stuff because you're heavily influenced by somebody else's creativity when you should be heavily influenced by your own creativity. That's the problem, is that people are doing it. They're trying to tap into somebody else's creativity. And creativity doesn't come from someone drawing something and then you manipulating it and making it into something new. That's not creative. I'm talking about having a white sheet of paper and just creating from that, from your mind, from your own imagination. Some people can't do that. It's difficult for them to do. And why is it difficult for people to create from their own imagination without any influence from other artists? It's because they were told that they need to be influenced by all these great artists and everything. Because this is what makes a good artist. If you know how to make a sunflower like Van Gogh, if you know how to, all this stuff. That's what we're being told as artists, that's what an artist is supposed to be. When that's just the opposite. Artists have always been individual, you know, very much creative, very much original in their approach to what they do. So I'm not saying I learned the basics, like basic drawing or whatever. You don't even need to learn basic drawing to be an artist. You really don't. Because a lot of artists, a lot of other people, they'll see my art and they'll say, wow, this is great. I don't have a creative bone in my body. And the more you say that to yourself, the more it becomes your reality. It becomes your reality the more you say that. So, yeah, I'm going to take my hair down. It's starting to get a little tight. But yeah, we do need a lot more artists, but specifically artists that are willing to tap into their own creativity. artists that are willing to set aside time, a lot of time from their day, and not look at everybody else's art and really tone in to what it is that they do as an artist. Not much better. I'm saying that's what we should be doing more of, is tapping into our own creativity, because everybody on this planet is creative. It just comes down to what it is you're creative with. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's creativity shows up in different ways. Always. You know what I mean? So definitely never take your creativity for granted, because um, there's somebody out there saying they're not creative while you're just totally diving into your passion and what you love to do. Artists make such an impact on this world. They are. And I still feel like a lot of artists are still overlooked. But the artists that are overlooked are the ones that are doing it not to gain attention, but doing it because it's their passion, it's their life's mission. And that's why I create art, because it's my life's mission. I came down on this planet, and that was the gift I was given. Just like so many people are given the gift to teach in school or out of school or not in school. Some people get the gift of writing, to inspire others, and maybe to inspire other writers who want to further their adventures in writing and explore their creativity in that manner. So yes, artists are extremely important. They are. They help keep this world going. They really do. Because I was walking around this area where I'm at, I'm seeing a lot of murals, a lot of art. And amidst the art, you see homeless people sleeping and stuff like that. And it's interesting. I once saw a homeless person sleeping underneath this mural of Tupac. That's kind of interesting. I can't remember the exact words. There was a painting on the wall of Tupac, and there was some, I can't remember what it said next to it. It was quoting Tupac, and that's what's just really bizarre. We got all this really great art around, and then you see all these people that are homeless sleeping, like kind of next to these restaurants that are very posh, and it's just really bizarre. I don't know how, if you're wealthy and you're in a restaurant eating, I don't know how you can eat and like there's no, like you can pretend like that person is not there, that homeless person is not there, without going over there and giving them something to eat themselves, or giving them some change or whatever. And as I was looking around at all of the despair that I've been seeing, I was like, man, this would be some good paintings to inspire people and make them realize that there's a lot of suffering in this area here, a lot, and people just walk by and do nothing because they don't know. Either one, they don't care. Two, they don't know what to do. Three, they want to do something, but they don't have anything to give. You know. So glad I caught you live. Oh, thank you. Yeah, nice to see you here. Yeah, I decided to do a live stream out here because it's really nice and pleasant. It's not really hot right now. Just cooling off from. I was overheating a little bit, but I was doing a recap of 4th of July yesterday. As I said, I'm not into fireworks. I don't like them because they're really hot, really loud, and very overly stimulating. It makes me really like, feel like extremely intense, loud noises like that. I don't like those. And as I said, there's a lot of fireworks going off, but it felt like the sound was compressed. It was, and then when it started getting loud, um, then you start hearing, like even before it would get really loud, you would hear like not fireworks, you would hear like car alarms go off, like all at once, a bunch of car alarms going off. But it was before the firebox works would go off, which was weird. What was strange about it? Really made it feel like this is a Matrixy world. It was like, God, you didn't time all this right. Like you had you cue the sound of the car alarms before the fireworks go off. I don't know if you guys know what I mean by that, but yeah, I just feel like they're playing with us with all this stuff here. And if you've seen The Matrix, you know that this world is more than meets the eye. It really is. And a lot of people don't want to believe that it's possible for us to be living in a Matrix world. Uh, I think if you experience a lot of discrimination and hardships in your life, you wouldn't think that that's an impossible reality, you know, at all. And yeah, I there's a lot of things I just don't trust in this world. You know, a lot of people work in these 9 to 5 jobs to no avail because they're not getting what they think they're supposed to be getting from this world, this incarnation. They're sapping a lot of people dry for forcing them to get, indoctrinated into this 9 to 5 world and reality. And I feel like the 9 to 5 world is hooked up to the Matrix because whenever I had a 9 to 5 job, I worked myself fingers to the bone, literally coming home sore, having to take baths, hot baths and stuff to recuperate every time, you know, and coming home feeling really agitated, having migraines, not being able to sleep, feeling dehydrated. All of these are not good signs that I'm doing my work, my life's passion. You know what I'm saying? It took a lot. Having a 9 to 5 job took a lot away from the passionate part in my life of being able to create art at any time that I wanted to feel like I wanted to express myself. But once I started getting into 9 to 5 grind, by the time I got home, I was so freaking exhausted. I would still draw and stuff and everything, but it wasn't the same. It didn't have the same joy. It didn't have the same um, energy to the art, But when I was able to like not have to work a 9 to 5 and concentrate solely on my passion, which is art, it became my art became more vibrant. It became more alive. It became more energetic. It became more of something that people could actually relate to. You know what I'm saying? People can actually look at it and go, "Wow, I feel that. I feel that way too." When I was doing a lot of tutorials at the time and doing a lot of videos where I'm showing how I created my art, it inspired a lot of people to create their own art. And that's what I want to do. And that's what I came here on this planet to do, was to inspire people through my art by showing my art and showing how I make my art and showing that everybody can be creative. You don't have to be a master painter or anything like that. Everybody has their own way of just letting out their creativity. And I would hope for every one of you that are watching and these people in this world that want to create but hold back. I just would want you to not hold back and just create. You don't have to create just in order to feel like you got to put it in a museum or whatever, because you don't. You don't even have to show it to anybody but yourself. But it's the art and it's the process of creativity that's really important in the making of art. It's not so much the finished project, it's the process that's involved within. That's the fun in the journey. It's not the when am I going to be finished with this project? When is it? It's a journey. And you travel through this journey, and through the travel of the journey, you start to discover your creative side and know that you are a creative being on this planet. And a lot of people are. They continue to tell themselves they're not. And as I've said before, words become things. You keep telling yourself, your thoughts become things. You keep telling yourself things like this, and you don't have creativity. Like I've heard so many times throughout my life, creating art, I really like your art. I wish I could make art. The only thing I could do is draw a stick figure. And I said, well, that's art too. Have you seen the art of Keith Haring from the 80s? He drew a lot of stick figure type things, but they were really interesting. The way what he did with stick figures was very fascinating, very cool, and very entertaining to look at, and very cheerful, made you happy. Um, so everybody's art's going to be different. It's not going to be the same. When people think of artists, they think of like photorealism, the greats. They think of like Leonardo da Vinci. Some think of, I I don't know how many people are still familiar with Albrecht Dürer. I like him a lot as a very photorealistic type of artist, realist. But not art. All art is realist. Some art is surrealism. Some art is cubism. Some art is more fantasy. I mean, there's all types of art, comic art. So yeah, I've dabbled in a lot of it, a lot of different types of art, and I found it very, 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 very fun. So yeah, but yeah, I think people should just relax. Find that time to relax, truly relax. Even if you have a 9 to 5 job, carve some time out for yourself because you deserve it. Because I know that not everybody wants to be in a 9 to 5 job, working for somebody else to realize somebody else's dreams. That's all it is, really, these 9 to 5 jobs. Convincing you that you don't have the power to tap into your own creativity and have your own means of financial, you know what I mean? Your own financial flow on your own for what you're passionate about. You know, I just wish for more people who are wanting to be creative more would just take those first steps and just do it. It doesn't have to be a whole hour. It could be even like 15 minutes a day to sit down and take for yourself to be creative. Whatever it is you want to do, whether it's draw, paint, sculpt, whatever it is, take that time out. Because the more you do it, like every day, make time for it, the more you feel like, yes, this is what I want to do more and more. So you start doing more and more of it week by week, and before you know it, you know exactly what your creative style is all about and what you truly, truly feel happy doing. Because that's where creativity comes from. It comes from a joy and a happiness of what it is that you're participating in. And it's your fingers, the fingers from your energy, from your hands, are creating each individual piece of art. So it's very, very, very individual and very personally yours. And it's just like telling you reaffirmation of what you're doing in your life. Is it making sense? Should you be on this path? You know, there's so many creative souls out there that get so, down on themselves because nobody else is seeing how passionate they feel about a certain type of creativity that they're engaged in. Now, your passion is your passion, no matter what, whether nobody's looking at it or not. You don't have to have anybody beside you coaching you on, yeah, that's awesome. Because you have yourself coaching you on and knowing that what you're doing is something that fills your heart with love and joy. And I think that's something that's very necessary right now, especially a lot of people, recovering from this pandemic. I talked to this one woman who said she was really isolated while that was going on. And she said, I guess you could call that depression. I was feeling like I didn't want to see anybody. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it is. A lot of people got really depressed during this pandemic because a lot of people wanted to reach out to others, family members and friends. Maybe some of the family members or friends were not someone you could reach out to because maybe during this pandemic, a lot of sides were taken. A lot of people, this side against that side. I'm not going to go into details, and you know what I'm talking about when I said sides were taken during this pandemic. A lot of people you thought were your friends, then they just aren't anymore. A lot of people, the person you thought was your husband was something else all along. The pandemic, what it did, okay? If we can say anything about something that came good about this whole pandemic, I'll tell you what it is this. We were able to see the true face of people. You were able to see who's real and who's not real. You see who's got your back and who don't got your back. Then there's a lot of times people you thought would have your back don't. Like your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, somebody you're intimate with and you're close with that you feel that is close to you and knows you. You think those people have your back, but for a lot of people, they realize, whoa, all these years, this person was full of shit. because when the chips are down and the struggling begins, and you're low on money, some people got laid off from work during the pandemic. Some people didn't even have enough money for toilet paper. It's some real shit. Some people were kicked out of their apartment complexes because um, a lot of people lost their jobs during the pandemic and they couldn't find a job and they couldn't get their unemployment soon enough, fast enough for a lot of these landlords who were impatient and want to just kick everybody out and not really caring that much that we're struggling. So a lot of people are struggling. So, yeah, it's something else, man. It's something else. And they expect us to go back to normal. There is no normal. I mean, if you think about it, what was the way that we were living before normal, really? A healthy normal? I mean, is normal supposed to be a healthy way of living? You know what I'm saying? That's what it's supposed to be, right? But that's not what it ended up being. We ended up thinking that what we had before was better than what we had during the pandemic, and started realizing that a lot of the people we thought were close to us, we find out during these hardships are not. That's when you really find out what people are all about. When things like this happen, when tragedies happen like this, you'll see what really people are all about. And a lot of people have experienced either separation, divorce, people just leaving you, or whatever, family members not wanting to have nothing to do with you because your opinions differ from them. When, as before the pandemic, nobody really expressed themselves and said much of what they were feeling, you know. So, yeah, it's interesting. People have changed, what you mentioned, a lot, you know. And you think, well, someone's trying to pick some fruit off the tree. It's not ripe yet. So anyway, people have changed a lot. People have gotten angrier. They've gotten angrier and more resentful. Have really, and some of this resentment and hatred is unfounded when they should be looking at themselves instead of at you, pointing the finger at you. And that's what happens to people when they feel desperation. They want to find somebody to blame. They can't figure out who to blame. Maybe it's them they have to blame, and they have to look at themselves. And that's what this whole pandemic has done. It's made people look at themselves and see themselves for what they truly are. But on the other hand, there's a lot of people that have been trying to run away from who they really are. By diving into really toxic drugs, by drowning in bottles and bottles of alcohol, by gambling, cheating, all kinds of diversions in order to avoid the inevitable, which is your life, and dealing with this incarnation, and realizing that if you don't realize what you're doing here on Earth, you're just going to be floating around doing a bunch of BS and nonsense and just causing havoc. And that's usually what happens with people when they do that. Now, the whole button about people changing. Quite a while ago, a long time ago, years ago, I read this book by Barbara Marciniak, and it was called Bringers of the Dawn. Barbara Marciniak was channeling the Pleiadians, which is an alien race that I've talked about a few times on this channel. And the Pleiadians were talking about how there's going to come a time where one day you look over on the other side of the bed and your husband or wife is not there anymore. Or just all of a sudden you won't be hanging out with what you thought was your best friend. And why is that then? The reason why is that you've evolved, that you leveled up on this incarnation, that you sought out more information and wisdom so you can understand why the heck are you on this planet. And then those people didn't, and that's why they're out of your life. And that's something that I was reading in that book, Bringers of the Dawn by Barbara Marciniak. She was saying one day, those people that aren't really helping you on your side will just be gone. They would be gone out of your life. This is another reason why they would be gone out of your life, because you're not vibrating at the same energy level. When you're not vibrating at the same energy level, then one person will leave and go find another energy that is compatible for them. That's why don't think that opposites attract. I think like attracts alike. Okay, what are you saying over here? It's John, what? John, or the money man is related to Isis wisdom. Okay, cool. Yeah, and the government used Isis. Isis used to be an awesome Egyptian goddess, and then Isis is now mixed in with politics and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's not how the things were supposed to be on this planet. These gods and goddesses were supposed to be honored and not used and abused. And that's what the government has done with these, the names of these organizations. Governments all over the world, not just the American government, okay, have been doing that. Using things using energies that were originally here to help, not to harm. So they try to corrupt the energies of these gods and goddesses that our indigenous people knew so well. What you saying, but please go in deeper with energy and matching each other's. Okay, yeah. So if you're with somebody who's very materialistic and you're not materialistic at all, you're more of a person who knows that they have a life path on here, a spiritual life path, and you're following it. And it's not about how much money you can accrue. It's all about your heart and how to help. Now, somebody might come into your life and pretend that they're just like that. You know what I mean? Just in order to assimilate themselves into your life to create a false belief in you that this person is my match. This person is in line with me, because what they do, people that are perpetrating a fraud when it comes to that, they will just try to, find out everything about you, want to know what you like, what you don't like, and they'll try to play along, and make it seem like, hey, we're just the same person. I like Star Trek, you like Star Trek, I like this, you like this. And then as years go by, if that person is not a match and they're just wearing a freaking mask after mask after mask to fit with whatever it is you're interested in, eventually you'll key into that and see that it's a bunch of bogus shit. When you get together with somebody that's an opposite, you will experience a lot of bad luck. Okay, you will. You experience a lot of, which I have. I've had a lot of people tell me so many lies, and then they get caught in them, and then they try to explain away why they said the lies, the manipulation, and opposites do not attract. That's all there is to it. For me, my sun sign is Leo, and I'm a fire sign, as far as I go. If I get together with a wind sign, you get fire and you got wind, and that's not compatible. The wind is always trying to blow out the fire, and the fire actually gets higher and higher the more you blow. You know about fire. The more you blow on it, sometimes it just gets higher and higher, hotter and hotter. So, as far as compatibility and alike attracts like, I think it's interesting when you get your astrological chart done, or at least know your moon and your sun sign. Then you know who you're compatible with. Some people don't really care about astrology, but I think it's really important. I really do. Certain signs are not meant to be together in a romantic capacity, or working in partnerships, or working together as friends. Some of them are just not compatible. Fire and air signs, no. You know what I'm saying? So You find that out when you. Here's the thing about dating and compatibility. A lot of people back in the past, what I realized, remember from dating, is that they want to know everything on the first date, and that's not a good sign. If they, especially if they only want to know everything about you, and you don't find out anything really about them, except for superficial shit. You know what I'm saying? um, it's really important to understand and really comprehend where someone's coming from. If you're trying to find somebody who is a mate, a match for you, this is what I suggest. You go on a date, really listen to this person and see if they even listen to you. Because I've been on dates where I'd say just that much about myself, and the person would be talking a mile a minute about one thing that they're interested in. And it may not be something I'm interested in, but I can't get a word in edgewise. And I've had a lot of dates like that, where they'll tell you just so much stuff about what they like and never ask you what you like. So you have to wait and jump in like like playing double dutch, digging those potatoes, waiting to get in so you can do your thing and tell this person about what you're all about. But a lot of people that I've dated and a lot of people that friends I've known have dated in the past, a lot of people just want to jump to what they feel like is the good stuff. I want to get down to the kissing and the hugging and the sexing you up kind of thing. So that is definitely not a match for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not into shysters and people trying to, hook up with me, one night stands and shit like that. Hit it and quit it type of warriors or something. I'm not in with that. And if you're not in with that, be honest up front. That's what I suggest. I'm talking about finding a match. Don't try to find a match. Your match is going to come to you. The more you try to find the perfect person, the more you won't. I always said, I mean, if you really want to find that perfect soulmate, that kind of shit is to Disney and romantical shit. Realize you're an adult, okay? So, I say engage in those things that you really truly enjoy. Like if you're an artist, create art every single fucking day, okay? Create every day. And don't obsess over, I want this made, I want that made, or whatever. I want this kind of friend. Because that's going to come into your world if you're in an energy field ready to accept that into your world. You know what I mean? If you're doing what you enjoy, that energy of that joy is going to radiate out into the universe, out into the world, and you will naturally attract what it is that you have around you. The energy that you have around you will attract what it is that you want. But if you're thinking about it and trying hard to find this person, that person, it's not going to work. It's not about trying. It's about being, just being who you are. And when you're being who you are, then you naturally attract what it is you're supposed to attract. Thanks for the 11 thumbs up. Let's see what you got to say here. Angie, you have the cheekbones for the big chop. Oh, it's funny. I'm going to say something about this big chop thing, okay? All right? Every year this whole big chop thing comes around with dreadlocks, okay? And I'm sick of seeing it because I'm not a part of no big chop where I'm going to chop off all my dreadlocks and donate them to some sort of like cancer for children to make a wig out of, okay? Because I'm not in with that. I'm not into like the big chop and all that. The big chop, what that shit is, that's just a way for people to get more subscribers and more viewers. They let their hair, their dreadlocks grow down to a certain length, and then they cut them off for, shock's sake. That's to get more subscribers, more viewers, and then you can get paid more money. That's the shock effect, is what they're doing. I'm never cutting my dreadlocks, okay? I'm never chopping anything off. And when people say chopping, that sounds horrible. Big chop? Like they're using an axe to chop their hair off. That sounds really frightening. I feel like my antennas have an energy to it. I'm not chopping shit off. I'm not. You know, thanks for the compliment about my cheekbones, but right? Thanks for the funny about my cheekbones, but I think my cheekbones look good with long hair, and I like my hair this length, and it's really really healthy and soft and shit. I ain't cutting these babies off ever. You'll see that every year. Usually it's during the summertime where women they've not died they've grown their hair really long, their dreadlocks, and then I decided to chop all my hair off. And here's the thing about when people do that on these videos is that their followers are used to them seeing them have long hair. They're looking up to them. They're pretty. Some people are worshiping them because they're on the dreadlock journey, and then and then they chop their hair off. Then they're like, "Oh my God, why'd she do that? You know, she inspired me to keep growing my hair. Well, her hair looks pretty good. Maybe I should chop mine off." You know what I mean? And it's like, are we sheep or are we people on this planet with individual brains that can think for ourselves? You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about this. That big chop thing. I keep getting asked that every year during the summertime. When is the big chop? Ain't no big chop occurring anytime soon. Do you do what? Undos with it? Huh? Teach me. Oops. Updos. Oh, updos. Yeah, I do. I do updos. I do some every now and then. Like I had my hair in the beginning of the show. I had it in a braid. Um, Sometimes I'll do it. Usually I like to wet it down, but sometimes I'll do two braids. I'll show you. Nothing fancy. Just two braids. I'll braid all of these because my hair is freeform dreadlocks, so they're all different lengths and sizes. So I just braided like this. Dun, dun, dun. Show you. There's been people that have asked me if I can braid their hair, their dreadlocks. Here's the thing about that. The people that are asking me if I can braid their dreadlocks were short. And I really don't like to try to braid short dreadlocks because then it will create a lot of tension on the scalp. You know what I'm saying? And it could cause hair breakage at the scalp. So I suggest a lot of times for people to let their hair grow in a little bit longer before they want to braid it. I'm saying so. Basically, after I braid it in the one braid here, I twist the bottom right here. The thick dreadlock at the end here, I just twist it around the braid itself, and then I tuck it in to the braid itself, like so, like that. That's basically how I do it. And then the other side, I do like this. I do different hairstyles, you know, just to switch it up so that I won't cause too much tension on my hair. So, but yeah, I do like this here. Here's the second braid. Let's see. What are you saying? I love the texture. That looks so cool. Yeah, that's why I decided to stop processing my hair a long time ago, back in the '90s, because in the '80s I had a Jerry curl, carefree curl, classy curl, every curl you can think of, and we created a lot of damage because there's some harsh chemicals going on with that. So that's when I decided to not chop my hair, but I cut my hair and shaved it because it was a bunch of hair that was damaged. So, right. I know, okay, yeah, so I'm getting at the end of it. So what I do, if I have two long ones at the end, what I do is take one of the long ones. Oh my god, it's hard to show you on video, but I take two of the long ones. One of the long ones, and wrap it around here, like so. It's easier for me to show you than to tell you. So if you watch what I'm doing, and then I tuck it in, and then I take the other one and wrap it around the braid and then tuck it in like so, like that, like that. So I've been braiding hair for like since I was a little kid. Because at one point my mom, thanks for the 12 thumbs up. At one point my mom didn't want to do my hair anymore. She wanted me to do my own hair. So I think I was about 7 years old when I first started doing my hair. And luckily, one of my sisters, that's it. Oh, hold up. What did you say? What was your relationship like with your hair when you were younger? Oh, that's a good question. When I was younger, I didn't like my hair. My mom would tell me to be proud of my hair and the texture of it. But what happened to me was I was looking at all these commercials on television of black women with pressed straight hair. You know, I wasn't seeing a lot of black women with natural hair like mine. So I thought, well, I'm black. I'm a black girl, so I should be, pressing my hair or getting a relaxer so to make it straight, so it looks beautiful. That was what I felt like. I did not like my hair, and so when I was in kindergarten, I remember my mom. I wanted my mom to press my hair with the hot comb for my kindergarten school picture. So she agreed to it, and she really didn't want to do that, but she agreed to it. She heated up the hot comb on the stove. This is old school stuff. Heat up a hot comb, steel comb, on the stove, fire on it, get it really hot, and then you press section by section to straighten out the hair. Well, it was looking good, after she pressed it. By the time I got to school, it was slowly like kicking back up, and so I realized that I can't tame this hair and make it into something that it's not. Pretty much, I can't make it something it's not. And if I wanted to do like a Princess Leia bun, I could take all this, and I think I can work it in there and do like this, to where it's a Princess Leia bun. Let's see, take it like so, like that. That's how I've been wearing my hair lately, like that, and then pull this around and do like that. And then you got another Princess Leia bun there. I've been getting a lot of reaction from that lately around here, walking around doing errands. This one lady, yeah, she commented on that. But yeah, when I was younger, I didn't really like my hair. And I was really largely influenced also by going to school and trying to fit in with all the other kids. There weren't a lot of black kids at the elementary school I went to. So I was like one of the few black kids that went there. And yep, where'd you go? Do you see that anti-natural narrative still strong today, or do you see it changing? No need to tame it. Okay, do you see? Ta-da! Yeah, you see that? Okay, do you see that anti-natural narrative still strong today, or do you still? I see it's still going, the unnatural narrative, but I see a little bit of, I see everything, the natural narrative and the unnatural narrative. And usually, yeah, what been seeing is a real influx of people wearing wigs, black black women wearing wigs, and I thought the strange thing is that a black woman, could be wearing a wig, but underneath it she has dreadlocks. So that's what's really strange to me. Yeah, that's what's really strange to me. And I do feel like there's a lot of black women that still don't like their hair. There's still like black women that are ashamed of their hair, the hair texture of it. They just don't want to go natural, And a lot of people will go natural because it's a style. Oh, so and so, this celebrity is doing it. I see that still going on as well. And then if somebody that they worship, that they're watching the video of, cuts all their dreadlocks off and processes their hair, then they go, oh my God, and they're devastated. That's still going on. I noticed that. Um, for me, I'm like, I don't care what people do to their hair. That's just not something I want to do. I'm not going backwards. I'm not going to start relaxing my hair, putting a hot comb to my hair, chopping my dreads off, and, putting a S curl in it or something. That would be weird for me. Maybe not for most, but that'd be weird for me. And that's not something I want to do. And yes, I have been seeing a lot of people wearing natural hair, but I've been seeing a lot of people wearing extensions, braided extensions, and even fake dreadlocks. People, their dreadlocks will fall off and then they'll sew the dreadlock back in. Or they'll cut all their dreadlocks off, right? And then they feel sad about doing that, but they still have the dreadlocks they cut off. And then they sew them back in. So I mean, that's the serious people. Some people are very indecisive. What's up? Hi, Dark Moon. Is that a hair color or hair dye in your hair? It's it's nice. Just asking. Oh, it's a hair color. It's a hair dye. I didn't use I dyed it. I used L'Oreal. That's what I used. Platinum Blonde. That's exactly what I used. And then a few months ago, I used a spirulina mask on it, which you can catch on one of my live streams. Actually, I was putting the spirulina mask on my live stream, so you can see that. Um, it was a green mask, and spirulina is great. But yeah, this is a hair dye that I have on it, definitely. Um, One thing I want to say to people, if they do want to dye their dreads and they want it like a light color like this, make sure that you moisturize it really good. And seal the moisturizer in. Stop. Not sewing it back in. Right? What's the point? I mean, to each his own. I mean, some people like to do stuff like that. I don't. It would just feel weird, you know, taking my time out with the sewing needle and thread and sewing my hair in that I cut off and lamenting that I cut it off. I cut it off. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not into the all the unnatural stuff, and people can do what they want to do, but I feel like as time has gone by, this is about the most that I'll do with my hair, is to change it a different color or braid it like this to keep it up and safe. Because the longer ones can scoop down into food, or if you're doing something that's messy, stuff here. Yeah, so um, I like it. I like my hair. I think it's nice. Like I said, if you decide to dye your hair this kind of light of a color, you want to make sure that you seal in the moisture in your hair. And what I mean by this, at least for my hair, because I have 4C hair, what I like to do is I wet down my hair, and I do this probably 3 times a day because it's been so hot lately. I wet down my hair, and then I'll put, usually, I haven't been doing this lately, but usually I put an oil on it, like olive oil or whatever, all over it, and then I'll put some sort of a cream, whether it be conditioner or. Lately, I've been using this thing that my friend let me use. It's a combination of coconut conditioner mixed with that mane and tail stuff, and I'll shake it up, and then I'll put it on. It's really thick, and it leaves my hair sealed. It seals in the moisture. Because some people are under the misconception that the moisture, oh, I need to put some grease on my scalp, some oil on my scalp for moisture. That's not the moisture. The moisture is the water. When you put the water on it, the oil and the cream seals in the moisture. And when you have it sealing in the moisture, then your hair is not going to get dry and brittle and break off. And people with this type of texture of hair, 4C hair, their hair is more, prone to breakage. So that's why it's important, even more so, if you decide to take your hair down these levels into this light of a hair color. If your hair is dark, be mindful of the fact that you need to keep it well moisturized and still in the moisture. If you don't, your hair will fall out. Here's the thing: is even if you don't decide to dye your hair and take it to this level of lightness, stripping it down to this level of lightness, you still need to make sure that you keep the moisture sealed in your hair. Especially people with 4C hair, whether your hair is dyed or not, our hair is prone to dryness. And if we don't keep it sealing that moisture, our hair will break off. And it ain't because we're unhealthy or anything like that. It's because we're not sealing in the moisture. You know. So yeah, what did I say? That's wild. Have you ever had breakage from bleaching your dreads? Yes, I did back in the past. When I had my first set of dreads, I did. I definitely did because I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I wanted a lighter color of dreads, and I didn't really take into account the fact that I needed to seal in the moisture in my hair every day after I, took it down this light, there was a woman who commented on one of my videos that I made about free fun dreadlocks. It was years ago, and she said, "So you don't think that it's safe to to dye your dreadlocks? You don't think there's a safe way to dye your dreadlocks like a lighter color?" And at the time, I said, "Well, not for me, no, because I had a not so good experience with dyeing my hair a lighter color, and my hair broke off a lot. Now that was because I didn't take care to seal in the moisture in my hair. I just dyed it, didn't really, you know, take care of it well when it was color treated. So that was my error, and that's why I told her what I told her, because from my experience, I was just saying, "Oh, this ain't good for me. It's gonna just my hair's falling out," and it's because my hair was dry as a bone, and it wasn't moisture putting I wasn't putting enough water on it every day and then sealing it in the moisture with the oil and a conditioner. Not everybody has to do this. This isn't like, instructions for everybody with freeform dreadlocks. But I found that that's what my hair requires. Let me see what this again. It's what? It's literally a rite of passage. Let's see. I like to have fun, lick your hair buns. They are pretty. Thank you. Also, like your dress. Thank you. Uh, why is your hair falling out? No, my hair isn't falling out. Someone was asking me, have I ever dyed my hair and it fell out? My hair is not falling out. I was talking about how when I first dyed my hair blonde, that I didn't take care of it, that I didn't seal in the moisture in it, and because of my 4C hair texture, it's prone to dryness. So if I don't take care to seal in the moisture, especially when I dye it and take it into a light color, then it does fall out. But my hair hasn't been falling out lately. It's actually been growing in a lot healthier and stronger. Not from dyeing it, but from sealing in the moisture. From if you were here a few seconds ago, I don't know. You gotta be here a few seconds ago. You can't just catch it from the middle. But it'll be a replay and you can watch the whole full video, this live stream. But what I was saying is the key is to seal in the moisture in your hair, especially if you have this type of hair. You want to seal in the moisture of it. And my hair is not falling out at all. Not one bit. Yeah, I was experiencing a lot of hair fall. And another way you can avoid hair fall is by using certain treatments, hair and scalp treatments, like for instance rice water treatments, which I've done on both of my channels. Both of my channels, I've done the rice water treatment, and it's really helped for hair fall, preventing hair fall, preventing hair breakage. Also, I used to use the wild growth hair oil on my scalp, and my hair really took off in growth with the wild growth hair oil. I also started using the Jamaican castor oil, black Jamaican castor oil, and that stuff is really good. So there's all sorts of things out there to help with hair growth and to help with hair fall. To prevent your hair from falling out. You can also make sure that you try to get as much nutrients in your diet as possible, as best you can. Get some greens in there, get some grains, and all kinds of good stuff in your hair. That way you are feeding your hair from the inside out at the scalp. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of good things to put in your body to keep the hair growth flowing. Also, what's good is rosemary rinses. Those are really good. Rosemary is great for hair fall and hair breakage, as well as lavender. And let me put this down. My arm's getting tired. It's starting to get a little dark out here. But yeah, also in that wild growth hair oil that I used, I ran out of it though, but I used it on a regular basis. And what's in it is the herbs I was talking about. Rosemary is good for hair growth, and then they got rosemary oil in it. They got lavender oil in it, eucalyptus oil. A lot of great things in that wild growth hair oil. I think it's a castor oil base. So that's what makes it so thick. So yeah, wild growth hair oil. Look that up. That's a good one. Even white people use it on their scalp too for hair growth, and they prevent hair breakage and all that kind of stuff. It's a really thick oil. So they have like check out my videos that I've done about wild growth hair oil, because there's instructions when you first use it for the first time. Like I think it's the first day you use it. The first week and you use it once a week. The second week you can use it twice a week, and the third week you can use it 3 times, and then after that you can use it as much as you feel necessary. So, so yeah, to answer your question, my hair's not falling out. I did have experience with hair falling out a little bit several years ago because I was having a high stress situation, and it was actually having noticing some hair falling out. But since then, I realized I was depleting in nutrients inside my body internally. So beef up on those greens for reals, on your legumes, on your nuts and seeds, things like that, avocados, things like that are really great for hair growth from the inside out. Some people like to take multivitamins as well if they have vitamin depletion, like they're not getting enough nutrients in their diet just from the foods that they're eating. Because as time has gone on, the soil is not as great as it used to be with the food that's growing out of it. So a lot of people feel the need to find extra nutrients and vitamins. Um, so yeah, 50% of my hair is fallen out since having a baby 3 months ago. I'm taking notes. Yeah, my hair when I had a baby, when I had my son, I know there's a little bit of hair fall as well, but I wouldn't stress out about it because that'll make it worse. Another thing that's important is making sure that you get out in nature if you can with the sun, because the sun is really good for your hair and hair growth. It really is. Make sure you have a protectant like liquid oil and cream. That's what works for me. The water you put on first, because the oil and the cream is what traps the moisture and it keeps your hair from drying out and becoming brittle and breaking off. That's been my experience. So if you wanted to try that, you can. Um, that's how I've been doing it. And every now and then, I do like to do some nice hair rinses with some different herbs. Usually, it's going to be rosemary, lavender, spearmint. You know, like I said, I did do a treatment though with spirulina because I read some information about the benefits of spirulina for hair and scalp. And that's another one that's good for hair fall is spirulina. What I did was you could check out my live stream, and I may do another live stream when I get a hold of some more spirulina. Basically, I just mix the spirulina with warm water. I suggest putting a little bit of oil in there, so it's not so stiff. But that's what I did, and I smoothed it like a hair mask, and it was green all over my hair, and let it sit for several hours, and then rinsed it out. And I still had some green in it. I like that. I like the color green. But yeah, very, very nutrient rich. If you want some other ideas for hair mask, here's another one. You can take some avocado, mix it with honey and your favorite oil, and blend it up in the blender and apply it to your hair and scalp, and then leave it on for at least an hour and then rinse it out. Because basically these masks, what they're doing is feeding your hair and scalp nutrients from the outside. And that's why I suggest eating those kind of things on the inside. If you like eggs, eggs are really good for hair growth as well. Let me see what we got here. I've heard of that, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And also, one more thing. My mom did this for my hair and scalp when I was a kid. Some people might find it gross. I did find it gross when I was a kid. But as I got older, I experimented with it and I realized why my mom used this hair mask on my hair and scalp. Basically, what you would take is 1 egg, some mayo, and some oil, like olive oil or something like that. Mix it up, right? Till it's like a cream. consistency. Then she would put the bowl. She mixed it into a pot that has water in, and then a pot that has the pot that has water in it. She put the bowl on top. Turn the heat on it, but not on high, and mix it till it gets warm. And then you put that mayonnaise, eggs, and oil mixture onto your hair and scalp. Just coat it like a mask. Put a plastic bag over it and leave it on for at least an hour and a half. I know that the smell may be unbearable, so that's why I'm saying there's different types of masks to use, but that it really penetrates the scalp and the hair. That's really, if your hair is really brittle, it helps soften the hair up, and afterwards, uh, you can wash it out with a mild shampoo if you use shampoo. Um, but yeah, if you don't want it to stink like that too, you can also put a dab of your favorite conditioner in with it too. So, or some essential oils in there as well. So, yeah, there's so many things you can do to help bring your hair back to life. Some people think I'm bald and there's nothing I can do. You know, pattern male baldness, that condition, that can be treated, definitely. Indefinitely can be treated. But people are so used to saying, well, it's genetic. I'm never going to grow hair back again. Well, my mom thought I had the type of hair that would never grow. That's what she thought. But she just didn't know that a lot of it was a combination of everything. It's a combination of what you put in your body. It's a combination of what you put on top of your head and your scalp. It's also a combination of also your stress level. If you're stressed out beyond belief, that can be uh, prime conditioning for hair loss. And also, if you're not getting any kind of exercise of whatsoever, uh, and really, it's exercise is really important, even if it's just walking around the block. Getting our heart pumping. You know what I mean? Circulation to your veins, your muscles, everything. It all affects your scalp and your hair too, growth as well. So that's really important. I hope people realize that it's not just what you put on the outside, it's what you put on the inside too. And your thoughts can have a lot to do with it too. Because if you keep telling yourself that my hair never grows, it will never grow. This is a mantra, a negative mantra that you're giving yourself, telling yourself that it'll never grow. And then it won't. So that's another thing too. If just love your hair for what it is, even if your hair is falling out. Love it. Tell you your hair you look good, hair. You're looking good. You look healthy. The thoughts are very important because the more you say good things about your hair and your scalp, the more you start taking it on the subconscious level and you start to gravitate to those things that are very, very nutritious and helpful for you, whether inside or out. you know. Let's see what you got here. I'm subscribed to Spin Gold. Oh, thank you. I've got a lot more videos about hair and freeform dreadlocks. Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that I talk about, it's not just, it can be used and applied to anybody's hair. No matter what nationality. But I know best about what works for my hair and its texture, 4C hair. But some of these things that I talk about are universal for any hair type. Like, let's see what it is. Yeah, any hair type, can use the rice water treatment. But with my hair type, I can only do it once a month because if not, it'll dry it out too much. With somebody who has more of a mixed texture of hair, more of a light curl, a slight curl, they could probably use it once a week. But if some people were using it every day and they had my hair conditioned, their hair was breaking off because it was too much. There's a fine line. You have to have a balance. But anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for... Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me. I appreciate you joining for this live stream. If you want to donate, you can go to my PayPal. No, PayPal. I'm having a hard time with PayPal. You can go to my Google Pay or my Cash App. And if you want to suggest a video when you have the notes part for the Cash App or the Google Play, just tell me what kind of video you like to do, and I would do it. somebody asked me, one of my friends who's been following a lot, asked if I do uh, like a live stream on the dresses I just bought. It's kind of hard to do that because I have to change in and out, and then I'd have to leave you guys with a blank, nobody there. So I might just do something like that for just a video I put together instead of a live stream coming up soon. So um, thank you guys for joining me. I'm glad you came by and stopped by. And mainly talked about freeform dreadlocks, which I don't mind. I really enjoy doing that. Thank you, Angie, for joining me. And I hope it was helpful what I had to say for some suggestions. Just try it out, see if it works. You know, it's about trial and error, and just remembering that it's all what you put on the inside for the most part, and what you tell yourself about your hair and yourself. You know, every day when you look in the mirror, just gotta tell yourself, I look beautiful. Alrighty, guys. Brothers, blessings to y'all, and I will see you soon.